means to be a conscious caregiver?
You throw these big questions at me right off the bat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're
Okay, let
talking
me
about
rephrase that.
caregiving animals or people or everybody.
Well, this Mindvalley thing, I actually call it conscious caregiving for animals. But in the last few months, or I would say the past year especially, because I've been doing a lot of, soul searching and, self-study and reflecting. And I realized that, it's not just for animals, but for ourselves. So I started to use the word humanimals, humans and animals.
Animals. That's funny.
you know just because I think at the end of the day, what really drives me is how to become a better human being for myself, so that I can be a better human being for my animals and then for other people.
Mm-hmm. You know how I would answer that? In a very simple way. How to be a conscious caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
If you make love the focus,
Right.
if you do your best to always come from a place of love
Mm-hmm.
for the other, that to me is consciousness.
Right.
Because if you're coming from a space of love, then
Mm-hmm.
you don't allow whatever your negative patterns that you're carrying or your resentments or negative thoughts to get in the way of that.
Mm-hmm.
You're somebody.
Yeah. Yay, it kind of worked.
It
Hopefully.
did.
Hi, Isabel. Were you Belle on the Connections app?
Hi there. Yeah,
Hi.
possibly. Sometimes I use Bell.
Okay, all right. So you managed to click on the link and it worked for you this time around?
Yes, it did. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm sorry
It
about that
did.
because I've been using the same link, and the last time it worked, but for some reason today, Joanne also sent me an email and said she was having problems coming in for some reason. So
Yeah, I don't know. They
well,
wanted a passcode for some
yeah,
reason. Yeah.
they've never
Yeah.
asked this question before. So I'm like, okay, it's just me and the universe. Spirit
Great.
is, making fun of me today, for some reason. But
I'll be right back.
yeah,
I gotta close my door.
okay, no worries. See, the spirit and me, very cheeky.
That's funny.
When I say
Really excited
when I
to
said
be here.
oh, thank you for joining us. This is
Yeah,
Joanne
thank
Bracken.
you, Isabel. Nice to meet you.
Hi. Nice to meet
Hi.
you. Have you guys met
Yeah.
before? Is this
Yes,
One other
Joanne.
time, right?
Joanne is, well, I consider her actually one of my mentors when it comes to spirituality, and I got to know her through another private group called Harmony Packs on Facebook. It's for animal communication, and that's how I
that's
got to know her. And I'm basically a volunteer with animal rescue work in Singapore, and Joanne
cool.
is based in
I've
the
done
US.
that before.
Oh, where are you calling from?
So I'm in Orlando, Florida. I was in Hawaii before that, and then before that I was in France.
I
and
was
I've
going to
done
say,
a lot
I
of
can tell you were in
shelter
France.
work. Yeah.
Okay.
I've
So
done a
you've-
lot of shelter work in Hawaii. Here I volunteer mostly for like cleanup. Sometimes people who have like stray animals, they need a little help. They have different groups, and I try to step in whenever I can. Yeah, not
Okay.
as much as I used to, but yeah, I love animals. I love wildlife, the environment. This is my thing. So I was so glad when I saw this. I was like, oh my God, that's for me. Somebody that
Yeah.
understands me.
Well, so do you have dogs, cats? What do you have? Birds, snakes? What do you have?
I have 2 cats. They're both rescues. I had bunnies before. I had fish, dogs. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just curious, is there anything that you particularly wanted to hear addressed today? Or anything that you'd like
So,
to talk, we're just getting started.
yeah, I just was wondering if this was more for caregiving, giving, or for your own pets or other pets, or as a whole, or wildlife, or all of the animals. I was just curious, and how to. I'm trying to get more into my intuition for my animals when they look like they don't feel good, or something like that. I would love to tap more into that.
Well, that's a very good question because I've got 12 cats and one dog at the moment at home, and I
Good for
take care of
you.
the community cats in my neighborhood.
Yeah,
So
I
I
do
do
too.
TNR, I do TNR. Um,
I've done
and
that.
basically
That's hard.
I just, with Mindvalley as a member, we are into self-development, and the spiritual side comes, at some point it comes in. Even if you're a left brain kind of person, you'll come
Oh yeah.
across a quest that will sort of tug at your heart, to ask you to dig even deeper, you know
Mhm.
and being a rescuer myself, I got burnt out, emotional
I
burnt
bet
out,
that's tough.
financial burnt out. It's hard when you give. And it's in the last few years, especially with my work, trying to, what's the word? Unfuck myself, to find myself, to heal myself.
Yep.
That I realized that I need to do self-care and self-love before I can help the other animals,
Absolutely. Otherwise,
or
you
even
can't. You
humans.
can't be strong enough to help others. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the rescue community, I mean, if you're in a rescuer, that there's so many extreme personalities there that go all out, but they lose themselves along the way, and sometimes they end up homeless themselves because they just sell everything.
I know. It's
they
hard.
they they become they leave their family, they become, there's a lot of isolation because they just give. And it's usually, for me personally, it's because I was trying to fill a void that I was avoiding from my own personal crap, right? For
Okay,
me,
that's
but this was my
good. At
personal
least you
thing.
recognize that.
That was my personal thing, because I was hurting from my own stuff, and I was just
Mhm.
avoiding it. And then I always felt that, hey, I have an affinity with animals. I prefer the company of animals. I don't have to
I
talk
was
shop.
there for a while. I did not like humans anymore. I've been hurt too many times. I've come from job trauma, and it's like I totally get you. I was like, okay, people are evil. And I used to think people are really good, but some of them are not. But most people are good now. And I switched this last year to like really bad places. So
Mm,
when Man Valley came up, I was like, oh my gosh, this is for me. I feel like we can go back to being human again. And that,
yeah,
yeah, you
Mhm.
concentrate on
exactly.
animals full on, and that's it. And yeah,
Yeah, so there is a real extreme with rescuers, because the saying, they're crazy. Some of them really are crazy.
some people are a little extreme out there. On next door, I see some people and else they're mean, they're aggressive,
Mhm.
they think the world doesn't understand them, and I
Yeah,
kind of been there to the extreme. It's
yeah.
not good to be
So
extreme in anything.
yeah, so for me, with Mind Valley and self-development, I just realized there has to be a better way for caregiving for animals. I can be a better rescuer. I can be a better volunteer without losing myself like that, you know?
Sure.
So this is
Yeah,
this is my
self-care is the big
quest.
thing. You got to do
Yeah.
self-care first. You have to. I mean, I know that I learned that the hard way when I was doing caregiving for my mother.
Wow,
And
that's hard. Yeah.
then when I rescued two kittens, it about drove me crazy. And I could see how easily I could get off balance because I wasn't sleeping at night.
Yep.
So,
Stress
that's
is
a
a
whole
big
other
thing.
story. But when you can't sleep, you can get a little crazy that way, so it always comes back to self and balancing self. and not giving yourself away to the point that you just get so depleted, because then you are just not a help to anybody or anything. In fact, you're helping to
Exactly.
drag down everybody else.
Mhm.
So it always comes back to number one right here. And it's not a selfish thing. It's necessary selfishness, or to be self-focused, not to the exclusion of others or putting them down in any way, but we have to nurture ourselves and care for ourselves and keep feeding ourselves. Like they always say on an airplane, if the oxygen mask falls down from the ceiling, who do you put it on first? You put it on yourself.
Exactly. I was doubting this for a long time, being as a teenager flying. I was like, what? What do they mean by that? That's horrible.
Yeah.
And then I thought
I mean,
about it.
if you
Oh yeah,
can't
if you're
breathe,
dead, you can't help others.
if
You
you're
can't
dead, you
breathe.
can't help. That's right.
Exactly. It's no point trying to help someone if you pass out, So
That's right. It won't be a help.
Yeah, so this is why I started this thing. It's conscious caregiving for animals. But as and I realized with my journey with Mindvalley, it wasn't just understanding animals. And we actually do segments, and there are previous episodes actually on my podcast about our relationship with, say, the animals on the spiritual side with someone else, Joanne. She's a sound healer, and
And intuitive.
and intuitive. She's a very
Good for
spiritual
you.
lady. And the funny thing was, she started with humans first before coming to the animal side. So maybe Joanne, you'd like to share a bit about yourself.
Well, I started out being very interested in metaphysical topics when I was a child. And I was sort of weird because I was interested in all these things that other kids didn't give any thought to at all. Like, were there really angels, and were there really fairies? And I knew that there were. I started being interested in past lives, reincarnation, when I was about 15, 16 years old. And I remember the first book I found on reincarnation. I just soaked that thing up. I just loved it. And so that was kind of the beginning. Like I just was mystical, but I didn't know that you could actually study anything about that. So it wasn't until I was about 30 when I just happened upon a metaphysical bookstore and study center not far from where I worked. And I walked in there and I felt like I had just died and gone to heaven. Like I was a kid in a candy store. I had no idea there were places like this. And it was like, where did this thing come from? Where did this store just come out of thin air? All of a sudden, there it was. So it was my time. And I just started buying all these books, and they had crystals and they had music and tarot cards. And I inundated myself in it. And I realize now it was because my soul was ready to get the education and have all those memories that were already in me kind of resurrect, because the mystical side was already there. I know now that I had been a healer in many lifetimes, and that's what I've always been drawn to. And so finding this study center gave me an opportunity to reawaken those aspects of myself that I didn't remember were there until I started studying and reading all these cool books. So I have been involved in metaphysical practices, doing intuitive readings, doing healings for, close to 40 years now. And that's my passion. And I'm retired from the day job now, which is great, so that I can just do my work whenever I want to. And just my whole passion is about helping people to heal and to clear out whatever blocks are in their way. So I've studied past life therapy and regression, channeling, tarot card readings, Reiki, all these different hands-on healing modalities, just so that I can give to people. Of course, now all of my meetings are over Zoom. So I'm not doing any of the hands-on work, but I don't need to because the energy goes where it needs to go.
You can still feel
You
it.
know?
Okay.
Yeah, you can, very much so. There really is no such thing as space and time. It's just that we humans, made that a reality, but in the spiritual sense, it's not a real thing. So just by having the intention to send somebody healing, it's going to go there. And I was told a long, long time ago that I would heal people with my voice. So I used to be a singer back in my younger years. I did a lot of choral work and musical comedy and things like that. And so then I started moving away from it in my mid 30s, I guess. And that's when the spiritual work started to come in, and I asked Spirit, like, well, what was all that about? And I realized that not only was singing just my passion and my love, but it also was allowing me to use my voice and become comfortable so that when I got into using sound for healing, I wasn't embarrassed to use my voice in whatever way I needed to. So now I do not the singing, but I do toning with my own voice. And it's really about the intention. Like you could use almost anything. You could probably set an intention for healing or opening up some part of your awareness and use it like bang on a pan. As long as you have that intention behind it and you're creating a certain sound and frequency, it's amazing what can happen. So that's my passion. And I've used it with animals as well. Amrys knows that. She had a challenging cat story and we were meeting with our harmony pack. This is last year probably. And I said, well, why don't we do a session for the cat? And Amrys, you saw results from that, right?
Yeah, it was amazing because I am a left brain person, very, and I'm learning to relax and become more right brain and intuitive in that sense, so I'm just a spiritual amoeba in my journey. And as a rescuer, I had a very tough case for one of my community cats and it wasn't doing very well. And I actually was struggling with the fact that my funds were running out. So I couldn't keep the cat at the vet clinic any longer. So there was only two options. Either I put the cat down or the cat gets well and goes out and back into the community. And we had that call in the morning of that day, early morning Singapore time. And Joanne was very kind enough to offer doing a meditation healing prayer session for my cat. And my cat's at the vet. She's not with me. He's not with me, but we did it. And there's something amazing about Joanne's voice. I've never heard it. But the first time I heard it, I got a bit, is this really her voice? Because the toning is very not earthly.
Strange.
It's strange. It doesn't sound like a human. It honestly, I mean, later if we have time, if Joanne can bless us with a healing session for us, keep your eyes closed, but yeah, it'll blow your mind, because I felt something every time she does it. The first time I felt my body physically jerked. It was really weird. And I felt lighter somehow. But what was interesting was when I went to the clinic later that day, and I told the cat, look, either you stay or you go. This, you gotta show me you really want to live. He actually stood up and walked in the clinic. And that was a huge thing because before that he really couldn't walk. He had he has like a neural problem, so he's off balance, like vertigo kind of thing. And so he was basically like that. And I said, you gotta walk properly, because I can't put you out if you can't take care of yourself, and I can't keep you any longer because I don't have any more money. We don't have any more donations. And he actually got up and walked. His head was slightly tilted, but he actually walked a pretty straight line. And so he's still here. He's still outside.
Amazing.
And I was
Great.
just, Joanne's gift
That's a great
was
story.
Joanne's gift blew me away because I said I'm a lefty when it comes to my brain. I'm a skeptic. Okay, I'm, being an animal rescuer, you're very suspicious of many things. The trust is not an easy thing for animal rescuers sometimes. And what she did really moved my heart. It
Well, I'm
touched
so glad I found you guys. It's like
it touched a
that
part
also
where
feels like it was like I'm supposed to be here, and like that's
Yeah.
like one of the most amazing thing I think I could find in Mindvalley. And I didn't know what you were about when I clicked on that meeting. I was like,
Hey,
yeah, it might be fun,
Isabel,
but
let me tell you a
wow,
secret.
like beyond
me-
what I was expecting.
Isabel, let me tell you a secret. I have no idea what we're talking about today because I'm
It's
leaving it to
okay.
spirit.
It doesn't
I'm
matter.
leaving
Yeah,
it to spirit because
it's all
Joanne and I
coming.
were saying, like, do we have a topic to talk about?
I know. I said, what are we talking about today? I was like, I don't know.
Look, I came from my meeting, I think it was at 8:30 this morning, Eastern time. And this lady had her first meeting on angel connection. And she was so disorganized. She had no plans, no content. She just kept going different directions. People kept asking different things, but we still got everything we needed. I mean, it was beautiful, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. No, when you open up and just let spirit do the
It's the
talking,
souls, yeah, flowing. That's amazing.
it comes. You get what you need. Exactly.
So
I was telling
Isabel,
Amrys, that's always my prayer before we get together is like, just
Yeah.
use me as a vehicle for healing for whoever shows up.
There you go. Help others. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So it's
Isabel, I'm
Amry.
just
It's not Amy, right?
Amrys.
Amrys. Oh, Amrys.
Yeah.
That's so pretty.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It is. It's like Amaryllis, a short form of Amaryllis.
Ah.
Or in the Hindu term, Amrita, for it's like I'm really going to be, my Indian friends might kill me if I get it wrong, but it's like what do you call it? See, my brain is going a bit fuzzy. It's past midnight here. Like
Oh.
longevity,
Mm.
Okay, good.
the Latin word, like amber, like what do you call it? For longevity, like health. That
I'm studying to be a health coach right now. It's funny you saying that. Through
Oh,
Mindvalley
interesting.
certification.
Hollow
Hollow body.
body?
I don't know if you guys. Yeah.
Me too. I'm
You
in the
are?
second court. Me too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Okay, this is
Fun.
funny. This is funny.
Yeah,
Yes.
your name sounded familiar, but I didn't know why. It's like, okay,
Oh,
maybe
okay.
it's just, but I
Were
think
we in the
I've seen
same
you in
pod?
some of the, yeah, what
Okay.
coaching pods do you go to? I go to Coach Lou mostly, and then sometimes Coach Lawrence.
Same. Exactly the same. I'm doing both because
Okay.
of the timing. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
see.
awesome.
Instance.
Yeah. So Joanne, just to clue you in, Mindvalley is doing this coaching certification program. It's called Hollow Body. So it's like holistic health for the human. So it's
And
Yes.
basically
longevity
aligning,
and
the
body
spirit,
10x,
mind, and body.
everything. Mhm.
So
Nutrition.
yeah, so I'm not
Great.
really a gym person per se, but I'm really into holistic health because of my rescue work. I'm a
Yes.
raw feeder, so I feed a fresh
Oh,
food
wow.
diet.
Mhm.
That is actually one of the things that really help my community animals. So I feed
Yeah.
a mix of wet canned food and raw food, but I don't feed dry food at all because I learned it's just bad for the health. And
Yeah.
My cat right now cannot handle wet food. One of my cats, when I rescued
Oh.
the second one, she gave, they both had, what is it, head pinworms, or what is it called? It's like really
Ringworm.
long
Oh,
and it's got like a
roundworms.
pin head.
Oh,
I guess it's,
parasite worms
is that?
in
Yeah.
the shit.
Yeah.
They're
So
nasty.
actually they vomited it too. And I
Yeah.
treated
Worms, I
them with
think.
parental, and I don't know if it's the parental ever since my other cat that was here first. never recovered from that, and she's got a little bit of soft stool, and she cannot handle wet food at all. So weird.
Okay.
So.
It sounds like your animal has a gut issue. Also because it's a rescue and out, but usually when you bring to the vet, they will just basically put a lot of antibiotics and and dewormers and stuff.
Well,
Which
that's the first cat actually that was already home, and she got it
yeah.
from the new rescue, right? And
Mm,
she was doing fine. She's 8, and it threw her off, I guess, from this. I don't know if it's the treatment or because I gave her Pyrantel a couple of times, but
yeah.
that's been a long time now. So I don't know if it messed up
Yeah.
her gut or.
Yes, definitely it will, because
Yeah.
any antibiotics or antibiotics kills all bacteria, good and bad, inside
Right.
the
Yeah.
animal's gut and humans as well. So like the microbiome is a big deal for humans and animals.
Yeah,
I'm
and I
just
give
gonna
her
put a link.
probiotics after that. I still try to give her here and there, but without the
Okay,
wet food, it's hard to give it to her because
right.
the
So
powder.
It's
Not very nice.
challenging.
yeah, so in the
Challenging.
chat, I just put a link to animalbiome.com. I don't know whether you've heard of them, but they use poop pills basically of
Oh
healthy
wow.
cats or dogs, and
Uh-huh.
you give it to, you can either pill it or put it into the food, if the animal will let you pill, um or you can try and use your vet to do it like an animal if it doesn't work the other way. But it helps to um heal the gut of the
I
cat
heard
or
that's for
dog.
humans, so yeah.
Yes. So this company has been doing it for at least 5 years or 6 years now. It's been
Yeah,
around.
I've heard of them. I think it was
Yeah.
for humans
The,
as well, right? Is that
well,
the
this
same
one is
company or is
animal.
it a different one?
No, it's different. This one, animal biome, is especially for the
Just for
animals.
animals. Okay.
Yeah, and they are based in San Francisco, Bay Area, like Oakland, kind of. My geography is
Hmm.
not very good, so I
Mine
just
neither.
know.
But
You're
yeah, I
Yeah,
know
right
West
they,
San
there.
Francisco. I've been there.
yeah, so
Okay,
they're
cool.
there, and they actually support my rescue work in
Oh,
Singapore.
that's so nice.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
And I commend you for this because I'm only helped a couple times doing TNRs. I'm not a TNR person because I try to help other volunteers with TNR and they go to really dangerous places. I don't know how it is in Singapore. It's like freeways, woods, homeless places. And I feel like I couldn't be safe because they told me you're not going to be safe. You got to take this risk. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. So I help here and there, but I can't, do what they do.
no,
So
I
I commend
understand.
you for that.
Well, when I was younger and more fit and more time, I used to do a lot of trapping. Now, like around the island, so I used to have to wear like jeans and longer sleeves because we do crawl into spaces that's not very
Oh my.
nice.
Oh
So
my.
you come out a bit icky poo, and you have to wear proper shoes because you don't wear slippers because you might get cut.
Yeah.
So I've done that. I have friends who still do it in their 50s, but I'm 48 and I
I'm in
already
my 50s
feel
too.
like the body sort of slows down after a while. There's only so much
Tell
late
me.
nights you can do, right, Joanne? I mean, like when you're
Yes.
when you're younger, doing an all-nighter and then doing your day stuff, no problem. But it comes to a certain point when you're physically can't stay up and focus at a certain time, without getting some rest, proper rest. And that's what happened to me. So I used trapping, I was rescuing, I was fostering, I was doing
Uh-huh.
adoptions for animals. So I got really burnt out. And
Yeah.
the financial side, because everything is basically, I'm an independent rescuer. So I try and get donations, but I'm not a big charity. So that's when I realized I had to learn to say no and focus on what really resonates with me as a rescuer or as a human being.
There's a lot of quests, by the way, on I don't know if you explored
Mm,
that avenue
yeah.
yet in Mindvalley on how to promote marketing, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I was really anti all that, and I learned a lot actually. I'm like, oh wow, that sounds like a really easy thing to do, workshops, and promote yourself that way. But yeah, what you do is enough,
Yeah.
just
So
know that.
yeah, so because I couldn't say no before, because we're
Hmm.
talking about self-love,
Yeah.
so I was so burnt out.
Oh
So
my
that's
gosh.
when it really hit me with my inner studies and stuff, and I realized, like, you know what? I need to be a better human being, and I need to love myself first before I
Yeah.
can even help my animals to be the best version of myself. Because I realized I didn't quite like myself after a while as a rescuer. I was getting very bitter, very, oh, Talita's coming in. Very bitter, very negative, and it was just a very toxic environment being with certain rescuers, as I was telling you,
Yeah.
some extremists in the rescue
Mhm.
community.
Mhm.
So I actually took a step back from them, and then I realized, like, okay, I need to carve my own path as a rescuer, and I want to do it the Mindvalley way.
Yes. Perfect.
The Mindvalley way, which is really love yourself first, really understand who you are. Hi, Talita. you know
Hi.
Hi
and
there.
and basically, really deal with a lot of my shadow work. And that's when it hit me like, hey, um I want to be a better, I still love my animals, I still want to contribute to my community, so there has to be a better way, just to be a caregiver. And the past year or so, we've had sessions with another lady from the UK, Dr. Isla Fishburne. My podcast does have her stuff in there as well, and we talk about the spiritual side of, say, when animals transition, because death is something that is not easy to talk about, when you lose your animals, when it's palliative care. So
Yeah.
we did do quite a bit of discussion on the spiritual side of caregiving for animals, like when it's time to go, how do we prepare spiritually for their departure.
Mhm.
Usually it's a shock to everyone, and we are so scared of losing them, and we'll go into a spiral, we'll go into
I've been
everything, the
there.
grieving the
My
grieving
last bunny in Hawaii was 13 years old, and she made
Wow.
it a long time, and she was like sick the
13?
last. Yeah,
Wow.
she was sick like the last year and a half. Not
Mm.
where it was debilitating too much, but the last few weeks, like I made up my mind. I had to let her go, and I was prepared to go to the vet, put her to sleep, but she actually died on her own that weekend. So
Mm.
but yeah, it was tough. It took so many years or so many months to recover, and yeah, it's 13. It's like having a teenager, so long in your life, and then boom, right? That's the thing. They don't live as long as we do. It's very tough. Yeah. And
It's
then
Yeah.
it
very
was
hard.
like, yeah, you don't sleep because they're sick. There's a lot of medicine I had to give her, and bunnies are really complicated with their biomes. And she had a respiratory thing, she had a heart med, she had so many things at the end. So yeah, you can spiral from that, and then it's harder to recover because you're stressed, you don't sleep, everything's going wrong, your thoughts are wrong. People react badly maybe to you because you're kind of toxic for a while, and then they don't know what to do. And sometimes you want to talk about it, and then sometimes you don't want to talk about it. It's like, yeah, like death is difficult, especially
Yeah.
for animals, because you're at work and you can't work. You feel like, oh my gosh, I can't work. I just lost my bunny, and everybody's looking at you like, well, it's just a bunny.
Yeah.
So
I hear
yeah.
you. I hear you. Because most companies, they have compassionate leave when it's like a human, your
Mm-hmm.
family, but
Yeah, to
not
me
your
the same.
animal. And when my senior dog passed, oh my gosh. Luckily I work from home, but still it's hard if you're not an animal person and you don't understand when I say I'm grieving, so I'm going to be a bitch for a while.
Yeah.
you know you know um yeah, so it's something that we explored for the past year. It's that spiritual side of losing the animals. um
I do
and
receive messages from animals and certain people right before they leave, a few minutes before they die, usually.
Wow.
Sometimes a little bit after. And
Okay.
I feel like I've disconnected with my intuition. I don't know how, why, these last few years. So I'm trying to get that back because I used to get quite a few, you know.
Well, then it's
Mhm.
wonderful you came tonight or today because Joanne is an intuitive.
I know, I love that.
And maybe, Joanne, I think this is the topic for you today to
Okay,
share.
well, let's focus it a bit because that's about as broad a topic as you could possibly get. Tell me, what would you like to know about it? I mean, we all have intuition, and it's a matter of, I mean, to me, of recognizing that it's there and then working to develop it. Like I'll play games with myself just to keep exercising that muscle because it is a muscle. And I still do it. Like, for example, when I hear the beep on my phone that tells me that somebody just messaged me, I'll
used to
tune
do
into
that.
that beep. Yeah, and say, okay, who is it?
Who is it?
And
Who's calling?
who's calling? Who's beeping me? And sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm right. But it's just playing little games like that to keep working that muscle. And I also think when you were saying, Isabel, that you feel like you've lost it in a way, but sometimes I think it's stronger with some people or with some situations than with others. Like some
Mhm.
people and some animals are really easy to tune into and others not as much because
Okay.
maybe they have protective layers there that are a little harder to get through, or they don't want you to get through. And so it may be a little more challenging in those aspects. But do you ever notice like some things it's so easy and the information just comes in and you think,
Oh
this is
yeah.
great, I'm really on, but then something else, that
Yeah, I was doing the
just isn't
silver
working.
cases. Have you guys done the silver ultra mind yet? You probably don't need it. I mean, you're so advanced, Joanne. But basically, yeah, it's all about intuition, and we
Yeah.
work on cases on people who are sick, and they don't
Oh,
reveal
interesting.
much, just their age, gender, where they're from. And I think that's it. Yeah, what city? And then you have to get, you know, just thinking of their name, their gender, the age, all that, where they are, and just thinking
Oh,
what's
that's
wrong with them.
interesting.
And my first three cases, I was horrible, and then the cases after that, I was great till up to like maybe number 10. And now it's like I don't get much hits. It's like, but you got to do 50, they say, for you to really exercise that muscle and to be good at it. So I've got a
Mhm.
little bit to go. I think I'm at 26 or 27.
Well, and we're
But yeah,
better at
sometimes
some
I don't know
things
why.
than
It's
others.
just like sometimes it's just like, yeah, you just can't tune in, or.
Yeah, sometimes the conditions, it's like flying an airplane. Sometimes you're flying through clouds and sometimes you're flying through bright sunny
Yeah.
skies.
Yeah, and I feel
Everything's
like I'm
delivering great.
developing a lot of growth right now too. So I have my blocks here and there. Sometimes I get like really happy, sometimes I get really anxious, like up, down, more ups than down, thank God. But
Yeah,
yeah. I'm doing
yeah.
the duality and transcendence with Jeffrey Allen. I don't know if you guys have done that too in Mindvalley.
I'm not a member of Mindvalley,
Oh,
so I
you're
haven't
not? I'm
taken any.
sorry. Okay, I
Yeah,
assumed.
No,
yeah,
that's
See,
she,
okay.
yeah,
that's not
yeah.
good as a
So
coach. You can't assume things.
I'm slowly wheeling her into the Mindvalley
Okay,
community.
cool. She would love it. Oh my God.
I
There's
mean,
Yeah.
so much.
I
For just a
started
few
taking,
$100s, it's like thousands of programs that would cost thousands of dollars. I mean, it's amazing. If you could,
yeah,
do something every day in there, you'd be so busy. I have to stop myself from doing too many quests and too many meetings. And
I have
yeah,
decided to stop signing up for so many courses because what I've done is sign up for them and then I don't complete them. Um,
yeah, and
there's,
that's fine with Mindvalley because you can stop them anytime. It's like
yeah,
online, and you can stop it, go back, pick
I've
another
taken
one,
so
and
many courses. I thought I am just at a point where I really don't want to take anything unless something comes in that just grabs me and I just have
mm,
to do it. I'm like,
yeah.
look, you haven't completed the last 3 things you signed up for through the Shift Network. So if you're not going to finish those, why are you going to sign up for another one that you're not going to finish? I even recently signed up with what's that one where you can learn a language?
Oh,
I forget
Babel.
Babel. I signed up to study Italian because I thought I might go to
Oh, my
Italy
mom
next
did
year.
too through them.
I haven't even started that one yet, and it's about a month in. Like, what am I doing? I'm dropping money like
It's
I
okay.
have on
Your animals don't need to hear Italian.
now. They don't. So yeah, I
That's a
started
fun language.
studying all
Yeah.
these different healing techniques and intuitive classes back in the early 1980s.
Wow,
So
good for
that
you.
was long before Mindvalley and long before there were computers. So everything was in person, which I miss, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
I
me too.
loved I did an in-person mediumship course, which I just
Mm,
loved. It was so
wow.
great. And you got to see the
Yeah.
same people every week, you know, and interact, and just so much fun. And so, I mean, doing it this way is great on Zoom. It's a wonderful benefit, and you get to meet people all over the world. But I still miss having people like in my
It's
own
not
living
quite
room.
the same. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that ability to touch and hug people when they walk in the door, you know, and really dive deep with them and develop those relationships, which are a little more challenging these days. But
Yeah.
still, I'm grateful for the opportunities that Zoom brings to us. So
Yeah.
what
I feel
else
the
do you want to
same
know
way.
about intuition? I'm just
Well,
living it.
let's see. Let me see where I can start. So as a kid, I had an aunt who was really into like angels and things like that. So she exposed me a little bit to that, and I think I got some intuitions here and there, but not too much because my parents they didn't
Excuse me,
believe
one
in anything. Go ahead. Um, it was just like something not to believe too much. Like it was crazy stuff, so I didn't really go too much into it. And then I grew up and got away from that. And then I met somebody who was really into energy, or she was getting there. And we went to this retreat in Hamburg, in Germany, and it was really, really good until the end, where they said, okay, you're not allowed to use anything medical. Like they went to a crazy place. Like to me, that was like, okay, if you can't use anything medical, medicine, whatever, like it's all in your mind. That's a little extreme. I think we need both, right? And I can't remember what was that was called. Something with the name science. It wasn't the Christian Science. It was something science. So I got away from all this, thinking, okay, this is too much. New Age, whatever it was called then. I was like, okay, it's too much. I thought, I guess everybody was the same way. I just put everybody in the same basket and got away from it. And then I still got some intuition from like animals and people, especially when they departed. So here and there, but in the last years, I got nothing. I moved to Orlando. This was stressful. All my jobs here have been really stressful. A lot of job trauma. I lost 2 jobs last year. So then when I found Mindvalley, I was like, oh my God, it's just what I need. It sounds crazy, but that's okay. I'm just jumping in, and things are coming back now, of course, doing the energy work. And, it's wonderful. I'm looking forward, I guess, to step more into that.
Yeah,
Helping
it's
others,
really our
saving the
time.
planet. I don't know. Yeah, we've got to get together and try to do something to help each other and help others be more zen.
Absolutely.
Violence,
Absolutely.
war. Yeah.
Yeah. And as I've had many conversations with women over the past few years about how this is really our time to bring all of these gifts and, the gifts that we have innately out to the surface, that it's safe for us. I've done so many healing sessions with women that there's a common theme, particularly with women, that I have found, where in so many lifetimes, we've been silenced. We were the healers and the witches and the intuitives, or even a public figure or a political figure, but being female in all of these past times pretty much meant, once the patriarchy was established, that you had to just sit down and shut up.
Dial it down. Yeah.
Dial it down. Don't express, don't speak your truth. And now all these women are like, I can't find my voice, or I want to find my voice. I want to express myself. And we've had all of these blocks, in the throat chakra area. And through all of these wonderful healing techniques that we've been given, we can dislodge that stuff so that we can free our expression and offer the gifts that we have for healing or speaking or whatever it is, you know, coaching. It's our time to bring it all forward. We're appreciated. People are waiting for us to show up now. And
Totally.
so we're just being given an opportunity to clear all this stuff out of the way that used to hold us back, which I think is a great thing.
Yeah. So speaking about that, there's a great quest and there's a book. Unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago. I don't know if you know her, Barbara Mark Hubbard.
Oh yeah, Mark's Hubbard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evolutionary woman. She
Yes.
was trying in the quest to get women to get together and save the world, because we're in a existential crisis right now where, you know, humans might not exist for much longer, or, you know, animals, wildlife, wars, the planet, you know, everything is like so messed up right now, and we have like a few years to fix it. So I was trying to create like a group on maybe Telegram or something. I'm sorry, it's like off topic for animals right now, but I think this is really important as well. So I'm gonna get into that pretty soon also. But yeah, it's all connected, you know, animals.
It is all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether we save ourselves, save the animals, we're all part of the same whole.
We've got to do it all.
It's all serving. Yeah, we've got to save ourselves.
Yeah.
And
the more
so
we
that we can
understand
be more
that,
available.
that we can save and help each other, you know, save ourselves, save others. Yeah.
Exactly. And what were you asking me earlier, Amrys, about you were talking about how you kept trying to do this and trying to do that. What was that? I wanted to revisit that for a second. Now, I was saying it's not about trying so hard, that when you continue to try, you try so hard, you literally set up blocks, energetic blocks. And so spirit in all the channeling work that I do for other people recently, they're always saying, you know, people are asking, what is my purpose? Or what am I supposed to be doing? And the answer is always the same from the guides. It's like you find out what brings you joy. That's how you know you're on your right path. And it's not about trying, it's about just allowing, you know, your radiance to shine out. So yeah, there are things that we need to clear out of the way and heal. And the more of that we can do and just allow our natural essence to come forward, the better off we are and the better off the planet is, because we're allowing our natural God self to come forward.
Yeah, and I feel, you know, one thing as well with the animals as our companions, I do feel that they are our guides, our angels.
Absolutely.
To journey with us, to help us evolve, you know, to find ourselves. And a lot of times is really like, you know, I feel like when they present with an issue, it's usually because it's also for us to learn something out of their health issues as well. Sometimes, you know, it's like, you know, that's how I feel. But Talita, you've got something you want to share? Go ahead.
I just want to give you guys a feedback from last time. I emailed you. I emailed you, but I didn't hear back. So I was like, oh my gosh.
Get anything.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, no, she did email you.
Sometimes block my email because I have a BR in the end. So I was like, I'm gonna have to wait until next session to talk to her again.
Oh, I'm gonna put my email right here in the chat so you can get the best one for me.
Yeah, doing that so I can try it again. But the dog, I think, of course, not just one thing, but I feel I really have like deep in me that's a healing session that we did online here all together. It helped him a little bit. He's doing a lot better. I did change his food, and he still have the allergy, but the ears are cleaning up. So like, I'm really happy about that. So I think I'm getting there.
You
And
can do a tune-up for him.
something amazing that happened was I woke up like a month ago. Woke up on a Thursday and then felt pain. And I was like, what is this? And I usually have menstrual cramps, like really, really difficult ones, really, really bad. And then I was like, wow, this is cramps, but it was not time yet. I even log in on my the thing that I have on my phone to check. It's like, no, it's not time yet for cramps. What is this? And then start feeling this horrible pain. I took medicine, passed out in the bathroom floor, and then he came over and he started licking my legs. And I was like, I didn't pass out for a long period of time. It was just like I fell and I woke up again. And then he licked me, and then he walked away, and he started feeling like this, and then he threw up like a black thing. And
Wow.
I was like, I think I need to go to the hospital because this is my big kidney stone. It just came to me, like that, because what are the odds that he never throws up? He didn't eat anything outside, because I watch him like all the time when he's outside. I'm with him. I know he
Right.
didn't eat. And then he just threw up. And then I went to the hospital and it was a kidney stone.
Oh my God.
And I felt like, it was only one, it was a little one, and thank God I passed, it was very good. But I felt like he's really picking all the energies on me. Like,
Yes.
it's really, I'm trying to do so much external work, trying to help him. But I think because he's my first dog, we have this connection, and he's really getting that from me. And I
Mhm.
was like, so amazed. I couldn't believe it. It was like, wow. So I think I have to work more on myself, my energy, and that is gonna resonate through him.
They run our stuff, that is for sure.
Yeah.
They're
That
a little
was
mirror. Wow,
incredible.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he's
Talita.
much better?
Oh, that's
He's a lot
wonderful.
better. I still have the allergies, still eating, like trying to bite the paws and scratch the ears a little bit, but he's doing a lot better than he was 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm. And you're giving him essential fatty acids, some kind of oil for his skin?
Yeah, I give him salmon oil,
Uh-huh.
and I also started giving back again some Greek yogurt for the probiotics, and I changed his food, so it is helping. But I feel like there's still more there that needs to be uncovered, but he's doing a lot
Yeah.
better.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
And you're doing better, so hopefully he'll do better.
Yes.
Wow.
Sometimes coconut oils can help with like ear skin, just a
Yeah.
small amount on a wipe. I don't know if you do that.
Yeah, I do that as well. I put it in his ears, and I clean all around with the cotton ball, put coconut oil there.
Yeah, Isabel, just to give you a quick background on Talita.
Yes, I was wondering, like,
because last month we had Joanne and we did this session, and again, spirit, me, and technology, it's a laugh, it's a real joke. Today was another one, Talita, I tell you. We almost didn't have the Zoom, okay, again, because of the link. I don't know why, but it happened.
I almost left, and then I'm like, no, just stay there, and somebody will come. And then I'm like, that's weird. Nobody has this issue. Nobody's coming. And then boom, there you were. Thank God.
I tell you, spirit and me and technology, okay? So Talita joined us last month with Joanne, and she shared with us about her hot dog, okay, her baby that she loves so much, that has been really like having a lot of issues for a very long time, and she's been to the vets and did everything, and she was just really at her wit's end basically. And for some reason she came across my posting for this event, again last minute, spirit again and me and technology, but Joanne did a healing session for us at the end. And like I said, I felt something, you felt, I remember Talita, you said you felt something as well, and you're a left brain person too.
I can't wait. I can't wait because Linksay's having the issues with her stools, and then she throws up more and more now, like every week. And sometimes
Oh,
there's
your
even no
cat,
hair. She's
right?
a long hair cat, but sometimes there's not even
Right.
hair in it. It's all like
Yeah.
liquid. I'm
Yeah.
ready to call the vet, but they don't give much answers a lot of times. It's like they don't know. I mean, unless they do a whole
Yeah.
bunch of tests. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing with this conscious caregiving for animals in with Mindvalley and stuff that I was sharing with you, it's like there's a link between us and our animals
Mhm.
that science hasn't really caught up just yet,
Oh yeah.
you
I
know,
believe
and
that.
and I really feel that they pick up the energy from us, and sometimes what they manifest physically is usually also, it's not just, yes, there's the environmental and la da da, all that stuff that we know from the science side, but really sometimes I think they manifest is also because they pick up our energy,
Our
our
stress. Yeah.
struggles,
Mhm.
and they sort of mirror it back to us in a physically in their bodies, and that's something that I've been struggling to learn in a way, to trust spirit, to let go of the attachment of too much physical sometimes,
Mhm.
because that's the thing when we do rescue, especially you're really in the moment, or as Vision Lucky, and he talks about the bullshit rules, the level 1, like deep into everything in the material world, and we're just stuck in the matrix, but we don't step back and see the bigger picture, you know and that's what I've been learning to unlearn, the last couple of years, especially in Mindvalley, and putting it with my relationship with the animals, and that's where, like I said, Joanne comes in, because she has this gift that blew me away, because I just never even heard of it, until I
So how
met
many
her.
animals do you have? You have 12 cats and a dog, right?
Currently, yes, and hopefully it
And how about
doesn't.
Joanne? How many animals do you have?
Oh, I just have one cat now,
Okay, good.
just one. Yeah, I've never been a rescuer. I mean, not like Amrys at all. I've always gotten my kitties from the Humane Society, or if somebody brought me one from under a woodpile, so,
Oh, cute.
but they, how they come to you. They just come to you
Mm,
when they're ready to come.
They choose you. Yeah.
yeah,
They do.
yeah,
So
yeah.
my little boy is just 5 years old now, and
Oh,
he's enough all by himself.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's very
definitely.
spunky.
Oh no, I honestly believe with the animals, they come to us at the moment. It's like we don't choose them; they choose us. So, and I just feel that, especially with my rescue work and all the stuff that I have, it's like, why the hell do I have 12 cats and one dog? I must be crazy. And believe me, I used
Crazy
to have
cat
more. I
lady.
used to have more than that, because I was active before COVID. I used to have more, especially kittens coming in and going out,
I know a
kind
lady
of
who
thing.
has 16 currently.
I
There
don't know
you
how you
go.
can afford to feed them.
I don't know how she does it. She must have a good job. And she does have a thing on Facebook where people donate, and I come help her sometimes here and there. But yeah, I don't know how
Oh,
she does
that's
it. And
good.
they're all
Yeah, it's very
blind.
expensive.
They're all
Oh my
the ones
goodness.
nobody wants, She
Oh,
puts some sometimes the healthy one at like Petco, PetSmart, in the stores. But the one who are unhealthy, those are the ones she has and she keeps. They're blind or they're
The
old or they have
rejects.
something
yeah.
wrong. Yeah, they have
Oh,
diapers. That
Yeah, not the
leftover.
yeah.
pretty ones, not the pretty ones. I get that,
I wish I
so
could do foster, but my husband doesn't want that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, one day I'm gonna do foster no matter what.
look, my oldest cat, my first cat, Meow, she's 14 years old this year, and I tell you, she very strongly has already made it very, she doesn't want to share the home with anyone. And but me being and a sucker for animals, I just kept bringing home animals, and the ones who couldn't be like adopted, they end up staying with me. And I realized that, yeah, so I kind of feel bad because like she's my oldest and she really does, but she puts up with it in her own way, you know, and I sort of thank her, and I think everyone around me is like, oh my gosh, you know, like this is a very, you know, I came from a dysfunctional human family. Now I've got this like hodgepodge of a animal family. They all have their 13 different personalities. I got a flatmate as well who's also an animal rescuer. But like, holy moly, it's like, you know, when people tell you like all cats, all animals, they're not the same. Every animal, cat, dog,
No, they have their
they
own personality. Oh my
Just
God.
like people, just like
Yeah.
people.
Totally.
and they've been training me. I feel now when I look back now with my, you know,
Yeah.
hindsight, you know, now is that they were helping me, training me, preparing me for my next stage of self-development, of growth. Because, you know, like I realized like, hey, you know, I had issues that I wasn't looking at, and thanks to the last couple of years I've been really trying to work through them. And now it's like I look at my animals from a slightly different eye now. You know, before it's like, okay, I'll rescue you because I've no choice, right? And then after I was like, ah, shit, can I just give you up? Yeah, can I just throw you outside? Can I just abandon you? You know, send you to the SPCA because I'm getting tired. My funds are running low. You know, that kind of thing. But now I realize it's like they were around to teach me a lot about myself. And it was very humbling because, you know, like I said, left brain, giant ego, very judgy bitch. You know, that's me. That's my default mode if I'm not careful. You
Me
know,
too. I
and
can be judgy.
you know, and it's thanks to people like Joanne in my search, you know, to become a better human being. And Isla Fishburne, who will be coming in next month. But like, you know, people like Joanne, I really look to them as my spiritual mentors. And when it comes to the animal stuff, the link that they show me, right? It's uh what's the word? I don't know. I'm very grateful because despite the chaos I have at home, which I do, trust me, right? I do love my animals very much. Even
Pretty
though I do
quiet right now.
because it's like 1:15 in the
They're
morning over
sleeping.
here. So let's not startle anyone. But if
Don't
I
wake
go
I
to
got
the
one here under my feet.
yeah, I've got my dog here. I've got my friend's dog who's actually staying with me for a few days. So he's in the bedroom, and I've got, you know, cats like, you know. But yeah, so we're keeping the energy low right now. But if I
Yes.
go
keep
to
it
the
calm.
kitchen and I turn on the light there, I'm telling you, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh
they'll be
yeah.
like, "What the
Food.
hell? What you doing? What's in the
Ooh,
kitchen?"
snacks.
Yeah,
Right, right.
The restaurant is open.
yes. So
Exactly.
you know, so I just feel now like what Joanne was saying. You know, when you stop trying, but just be, and try just, you know, to find that joy in your life, um things move a lot smoother, you know.
They really
Totally.
do. They
You
really
know,
do.
I'm not like I said, I'm a spiritual amoeba, and I you know, I'm learning a lot of the spiritual side, but I'm still, you know, when it comes to the meditation and the intuition stuff, I'm not as sensitive as say Joanne, because Joanne's like up
You
there,
have
and
to
I'm,
work
you know,
at it. That's
But
all.
yeah.
I've been doing it for 50 years or 40 years.
There
or
you
whatever, so
go. There you
over
go.
60 years, you know, so we all start at a certain place, and it's not that anyone is better than another. Maybe some people have just traveled on that road a little bit longer than some others. And I would not call you a spiritual amoeba. You say that all the time. It's like, if you were that, you probably wouldn't have any desire to even have this conversation that we're having right now. So give yourself some credit. for being open spiritually to expanding your understanding of things and realizing that there is a spiritual journey to be had, because really, you know, I think you're much further down the path than you think you are. Just give yourself some credit.
Oh, thank you, Joanne.
You
So,
couldn't,
okay.
you couldn't be hanging out with me if you were that far down the totem pole.
Okay,
Exactly.
so I am a spiritual amoeba with a capital A and an M. It's still getting there.
Okay, you have to take the Sixth Sense intuition class.
I was just gonna say that the 6 phase
Oh,
which one
is your
meditation
cat?
was
You
vision,
should
yeah. It's
of
so easy.
yourself.
It's like 3 minutes. Boom, done.
The words that we say have a lot of power, you know. So the more you affirm that, the more you're gonna be insensitive to that energy.
Right.
So it's better if you just say, I'm learning, or, you know, I'm open
Yeah.
to experience more
I'm on
of
the
this.
path. I am on my
Yes.
path.
I'm getting
Yeah.
better and better every
Focusing
day.
more and more every day. Yeah. Whatever you put behind the words I am, you're giving a lot of power to.
Yeah.
So quick
So you see-
question.
Mm,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I always learned that cats do take what you have in, you know, if you have too much stress, too much whatever, and they kind of protect you. So I always heard, like, if there's 2 people in the house, you need 2 cats, because otherwise it's too much for 1 cat to take care of 2 human beings. I don't know if that's true, Joanne. I don't know if you're in your vision or
I've never heard that. I can't say that it's true or false. I've just never heard
You
that.
never had a cat to say, hey, yeah, that's a lot of work taking care of you, or
Well, actually,
I knew an animal
last
psychic in
cat-
Hawaii.
What?
I knew an animal psychic in Hawaii. and
did,
she used
yeah.
Yeah, I would show her a picture and she would know right away. Okay, so that's a female bunny. She's your baby. You've had her for this long. She's seeing ghosts. She's trying to talk to you about this and this. And I was like, really? That was
Wow.
amazing. But yeah.
Yeah, that's not my work. I don't do that, but I think that's really cool. But yeah, they really do tune into us. And it was like when I moved, I live in Maryland now, and I used to live in Colorado. And I had my cat Gracie, who I just adored so much with every breath of my body. And of course, she came with me. Well, as soon as she got into our house, because I moved back into the family home after my father had died, so I could help my mom. And when we got in there, Gracie knew, it was like, she knew as soon as we got there what her job was going to be. And it was about taking care of my mother.
Oh, wow.
So I was with my mother for the last 7 years of her life. And I would be working during the day, and Gracie was with my mother constantly. And she used to sleep during the day up on my mother's chest. Well, my mom had COPD, lung issues, and heart problems. And Gracie tuned right into that and used to just lay on my mom's chest constantly. And sadly, Gracie met her demise because she developed, this was right before my mom died, Gracie developed mammary gland cancer. And as soon as I heard that from the vet, I was like, that, she took on my mother's illness and pain because she was always lying right on her chest. And what did she get? It was like she took on so much of what my mom was carrying, and it became cancer in Gracie's body.
See, so it is kind of true that they do take care of us that way.
They do. And I think if that's their mission with us, that's what they're going to do. But that doesn't mean that every animal takes on that level
Right.
of healing. You know, you may get a cat, like for instance, my Micah, I think he's just here to tell me to get away from the computer and go play. Let's go play. He doesn't seem like he's all that interested in healing anything. His job is to make me play, because I was actually told this by somebody. Yeah, he thinks you're really boring, so he wants to make you get up and play. Like, okay, I get it. So different animal completely, different set of circumstances and different program for this life. So I really do believe that, like us humans, I believe that the soul, before we get here, decides on what it wants to learn and what kinds of experiences it needs to have to do that learning and what kind of healing we're going to do. I really think that animals do a lot of that as well. Like they have a plan for when they come in, and they find the right circumstance to help them do what their plan is. Like I had to move another cat away from us into another home because she could not do her plan in the household with me and my other cat. It just wasn't possible. So because Micah was a real bully, he was bullying her. So
yeah, that
and
happens
if I
here
didn't do that
sometimes.
right away, yeah. So my other cat just couldn't live out the life that she wanted. So Spirit arranged it that I found another great home for her, and she's happy and enjoying life as she should. So we all have a plan, even the animals, and some are here to really heal us, and some are here to make us get off our butts and go play and have fun and entertain them.
Oh, Joanne, speaking of spirit and play and fun and technology all in one session, we are actually coming close to 1:30.
I know.
Oh my gosh,
it's
yeah, I feel like we
late.
could talk forever for so many subjects.
It's again, did not plan this session again. Didn't really know what was going to happen, but this was a very interesting agenda that Spirit planned for us, Joanne.
Yes, I'm not quite sure what it was, but we were just exploring.
So I'm thinking before we sort of like close the session, because I know everybody's gonna be busy, and I know Talita's actually working, so she can't, she's got to look very serious as well on the computer. But I was thinking, could you do a session, for a healing session for us? And
Absolutely.
I'm so happy for Talita as well. We were talking about you and wondering that Joanne said she didn't hear from you. I was kind of surprised because we thought that you really were going to contact her. Again, see, Spirit technology.
Yeah, right away. And actually too, but sometimes the websites just blocks my emails because they think it's a spam. And this email for a long time, everything's on it, and I have a resistance against new things, so I'm like, I'm not getting a new email.
Oh, well, did you copy down my email address?
Yes.
Okay, because that should get to me.
That one.
That should get to me for sure.
Oh,
yeah, well, let's do a little sound healing. That was a beautiful message at the end.
Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Joanne.
How did that feel? Felt great to me.
So what message did you get? Did you get any vision?
Me? No, I just had the experience of the angelic realm bringing that energy through me. And I just get my ego out of the way and let them do the work. So anything you heard was coming from those higher realms, the sounds and the message afterwards. So that was them fully communicating through me for us.
Wow.
And so
I
it just
felt the
feels
vibration,
delicious.
through my ears, like something was in there trying to expand and go to the whole house.
Yes. Well, I've been called the human crystal bowl because people have experienced the sounds as like if you were ringing one of those bowls.
Yes.
And it does
talking, and I was like, Amrys said you had a weird voice or something weird. I was like, I don't hear anything in her voice that's weird. And then until you started, like, it's almost like a chant, right? Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What is interesting is that every time I hear her when she does a healing session with a sound, with a voice, it's never the same. It's always different, and this time round, what I felt was like my body was vibrating.
Me too, in my
Like,
throat.
and I
ears.
felt like I was going up and up and up. It was just
Wow.
weird. Joanne, only you, man.
Yeah, I don't need
I-
any special instruments other than my vocal cords.
How
Yeah.
did you
Just kinda
learn to do that? Did one of your angels of spirit tell you to do that, or did you read it someplace before? Or
Well, no, I didn't have any teacher for this for a long time. I just, as I think I mentioned earlier, I used to be a singer. And so singing and music have always been of the utmost importance to me. I still like to sing, but I can't sing as well as I used to because I just haven't been doing it in the classical way for a very long time. But once I started to get into the healing field, I started to ask, like, well, is there a way to use this together? Like, am I never going to use my voice again? And then I was told you will use your voice to heal. You will heal people with your voice. And then I started getting introduced to the concept and the practice of sound healing, which we now know is used extensively in the ancient healing temples. Sound healing has been around since the beginning of time and the beginning of when people used to gather, and chant together and dance and, invoke spirit. It's always been around. In fact, what was the world created with? In the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God and the Word was God. It's like, what is that? That's the spoken word that created universes. So we have that ability within us being a part of the creator. So it just started coming to me to make sound when I would be working with people. And then much further down the line, probably 10 years down the line, I actually was given the opportunity because I moved to Boulder, Colorado, and one of the best sound healers in the world, Jonathan Goldman, lived within a couple of miles of where I lived. And so I started taking his workshops. It didn't teach me how to use my voice in as much as just the sacred space that was created with all these people coming together to work with sound helped me just to open up my throat and allow that to come through me. And the first time I can see myself walking down this path during a lunch break or something at one of the conferences I went to, and I was practicing my toning and I started to hear these sounds coming through. I was so excited. I was just like, oh my God, listen to that. I'm hearing the overtones and I'm hearing all this. I was like, oh my God, that's so great. So that was around 1999 that happened.
cool.
So it's just developed from there. It's like, I think I've said this before, Amrys, like I didn't have an overnight awakening. Mine has been on the long, slow boat, which is fine because it's been very exciting and very fulfilling this way. But it's like, that saying, when the teacher appears, or when the student is ready, the teacher appears. When the student is ready, the program appears, Mindvalley will appear, or the Shift Network will appear. It'll all open up. So Talita, how did you experience the sound this time?
It was amazing. I felt like, just like Amrys, my whole body was vibrating like this. I didn't feel like going up, but it was just like I could feel tingling over my body, and it was really amazing. And even the dogs, they all came around and they're all laying here on my foot.
A lot of times the animals will come in for it too. They recognize it.
Yeah, so it was very good. I really enjoy it. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I was thinking, Amrys, maybe we could do more of just doing sound healing in a different podcast.
Sure.
To give
Oh,
people
yeah,
an
that sounds
opportunity to
fun.
come with their intentions, and we just do that.
if you are willing to share and do it, I would love it. I mean, like
Always.
I was hoping for something like that, but I didn't want to say it because it would just be too greedy of me. But
No, well, you're giving me an opportunity to use my gift and what I really love to do. And people want it, people want
yeah.
opportunities for healing. And this is my gift. So why not share?
Let me tell you something, Joanne. One thing is, like I said, I've always been a left brain skeptic, and all this healing stuff, I've always thought like it's too woo-woo for me, okay, honestly. But I said when you did that gift, when you gave me that gift for my community cat, you broke open something
I
because
did. I blasted you.
you blasted me with that frequency toning stuff.
Frequency,
It just broke, it shattered something, because all I could think about was like, I need to learn more and I need to get to know Joanne more, because I just felt drawn to her in a really weird way. It's like stalking you, like, fangirl here,
Thanks for the warning, Amrys.
but there's something, and you were saying, because it took you a long time to, like a slow awakening. It wasn't like a sudden, like lightning struck and you went,
Not
hey,
overnight.
you know,
No,
yours took quite a journey as well. And I'm thinking, and when you say things like that, and I'm looking at myself, and I'm thinking like, that sounds like me in a way, because I'm still ambling and fumbling and, like knocking into the lamppost kind of thing, trying to figure things out, to left, to right kind of thing, and when you said, your gift, it just came naturally without, you didn't have to think so hard. And again, remember you telling me, don't think so hard. Don't keep trying. It will
yeah.
come. It will come,
You have to open the
naturally.
door. Just open the door and say, come on in. I am open. I am ready. Bring it on.
Yeah.
And you
So
keep
for
saying
me,
that,
yeah.
yeah,
and
because
So
I've learned that if you don't invite them, the
mm,
spirits and your angels are not allowed to help you. You've got to ask.
that's right. They're waiting for our invitation. And
Build a
I'm all waiting.
relationship
for,
with
come
them
on in.
again. And
Come on in.
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So, it's like, I'm thinking like, that's why I love having these sessions with people like Joanne, because, it's just a reminder for me, and a lesson, because I think sometimes we get too, caught up in everyday stuff sometimes, and we forget. So,
We've lost all that. Our
yeah,
ancestors, I feel like they knew all kinds of stuff that we've just lost down the generations. Yeah.
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 We've
And,
lost our tribes in a way, because just think about it.
Mhm.
Maybe not so ancient times when there was say a sick member of one of the tribes, what would they do? They wouldn't send the person away to go for therapy. The tribe would all come together and have the person in the circle, and they would all drum and chant and rattle, and they would work together to uplift the energy for that person.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel so blessed, having started my podcast like 2 years ago, and then meeting people like you. It makes me very happy and very fulfilled in a very simple way. It's like, I don't do this for money. I don't, this is a passion thing that I'm doing. And I just feel that, I love every time I meet you, even though it's once a month, I meet you, I always have a take back, and like I said, I
That's
love
good.
your healing session. So I'm so happy you brought that up and you suggested it, because I've been thinking about it. I was like, I shouldn't be too greedy. Let me wait. Let's see what spirit has to say about it.
Well, she has spoken.
Well,
Well, we can talk about that later and see how to put it together. But
yeah.
this is what feeds me, is to be able
Mm.
to offer this to people and have you experience it and get something out of it. I mean, it can't get any better than that for me.
Yeah. And I love the fact that Talita and her dog, from only one session with you last month, and now it's like, you know, I think it's fantastic. I think it's just, you know, it's like freaking awesome, man.
I'll let you
Yeah.
know if there's any progress with Linksy.
Yeah.
Please
I'm sure there
do.
will be.
Please do. I know there's always a healing. There's always a
Mm.
healing if that's the intention and the recipient is open to it. And I haven't had an animal ever say no. You know, they're so receptive. But there's always a healing, even if we don't see it right away or fully grasp that it's happened. There's healing always,
Yeah.
because
And
that's our intention.
Thank you for sharing your story, because I feel like in the same boat. We always see everybody, you know, not only on Mindvalley, that people that was like, wow, I did this and then something hit me and I just cover, and then since then I start working with this, and I'm like, nothing is happening. You know, so listening to you is inspiring, because everybody's different, you know, and your journey, it didn't happen overnight, and you had to do one step at a time, and that's so more realistic than us
Yeah.
expecting gonna be like everybody else, and I found my purpose and this is what I'm gonna do, and next day, boom, it's ready, you know. So it's
Yeah.
really inspiring what when you talk about your journey and how it was gradual, you know, one little step after
Very
the other.
gradual. And I did a lot of work on myself, a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
oh yeah,
so
Joanne's got plenty of stories. Actually, we should we should do a story time about Joanne
story
one day.
time.
Yeah, story time about Joanne, because Joanne's life herself. I actually did a podcast with, was it last year? Oh crikey, I can't even remember how long ago it was. April of this year, I think. Let me just see. I'm bringing it up now. Let me get the link. But yeah, she shared part of her journey there. As usual, you know. This is the link to, I interviewed her in my podcast, and from there I sort of proposed to her, would you like to do something with Mindvalley and come to Mindvalley and share? Because like I said, she's got this amazing voice which I've never heard before. It blew my mind. And I'm like, you know, this is a rare gift, you know. And when you say like we all have individual gifts, so I'm sure Talita's got a superpower somewhere, you know, and Isabel as
Yeah.
well. You know, we all have something that we're still crafting and, you know, refining as we journey together. So it's just
Exactly.
I just love
Exactly.
it. I just love
So
it.
we got to do our own work in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's a good thing. So yeah, I think that this is more where I can serve, you know, because I'm not an expert in animals. I can work with healing animals, but I'm not an animal expert. So my ability to communicate on that level, like Amrys, you probably know way more than I do, but I can do the energy work.
yeah. But you see, to me, it's still a beautiful tool, you know, a skill that you have, a gift, as I call it, that I think helps all caregivers, you know, any pet parent, any rescuer, if they knew about this sound healing thing, which, you know, like I said, I never heard of it because that's just me, you know. And I feel something. I mean, can you imagine what others will feel if they heard it, if they open their mind to be receptive to it? Um, you know. So thank you.
We can do a whole good talk on just the benefits of working with sound and, you know, a little bit more of the background of it.
Yeah. But, you know, if you guys are interested, then at least, you know, this will inspire Joanne to
Yeah, stay in touch, because it does inspire me when I hear that people want more of something. It's like, oh, okay, let's do that. You know,
Yeah, it
let's
was
give you
great.
what you want.
I
yeah.
felt at one point that my throat was vibrating, and that I also asked, you know, besides the animal healing, I also asked for me to heal and be more of a helpful human being, and, you know, be more receptive. And I felt like something was like lifted off my throat. and I felt like there was like little balloons going up. It was so weird, and like things have opened even more.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah,
That's
and
very
that helps the whole, human, animals, whatever's in our life. I'm
Yeah.
sure of it.
Absolutely.
Thank
Well,
you for
stay
that.
tuned. So maybe
Yeah.
next time
I'll let
we'll
you
do.
know.
Yeah.
And then, so this
Yeah.
is going to be once a month then, right?
Yeah, every last for
Cool.
Joanne, she's agreed to put aside every last Wednesday of the month, unless something happens in the schedule. Then we'll shift it, and hopefully Spirit will be kinder to me with technology, so I'll post things a little bit easier. I can't believe this is the second time it happened.
Just practice. Just practice.
Yeah, but again,
Well, it's been fun hanging out with you
yeah.
all.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nice meeting all of you. Thank you.
Yeah,
You
so thank you,
too.
everyone. Thank you.
See you next
We'll
time.
see each other next month again, okay?
Yes, for
I'll be
sure.
there.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Thank
Okay.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Wow, I'm so thankful and grateful that you took the time to listen to this podcast. It would mean the world to me if you could subscribe, download, rate, review, and share this with others whom you care about that may enjoy it as well. Thank you, and remember to be kind to yourself and others. Have a awesome day, everyone.